Gibbs, driver of the 13 Mitigator Ford Fusion. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.tv.
And my $2,000 friend.
I'd like to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing tonight. Oh, God. Who y'all say we got already on here?
Mike Herman Jr.
Mike Herman Jr. is on with the show with us tonight. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Doing good. How about everybody else?
In case you couldn't tell, we were already on a roll 10 minutes before this thing ever started.
It's like a circus in here. You got Roger Brehm and Al Pearce and
You're getting ready to say something smart.
Brian Morehouse, and that's all I'm going to say about him. And you got Scott somebody. And
You're the president of his fan club now. Come on, you ought to remember his name.
all right, Mike, we're going to start off with the big question. Where are you having the RC races this week?
Not this week. I'm taking my off week this week to get the track finished up. You know what I mean? It's been I've done a lot of things in racing, and for some reason or another, I've always wanted to promote something. You know, I wanted to run a racetrack, so I'm starting out small with my RC track, and I'm going to take the weekend off this week to get the walls painted up red and white, get the billboards up, get the schedules put out. So my opening night is July 30th, so we still got a week or two away before opening night.
Oh darn! I'm gonna be in Charlotte the 28th, and I'm gonna miss the opening of your racetrack.
Yep, we're on Wednesday night, the 30th. So worried about car count. You know, I mean, I gotta get out here and shake the bushes, make sure all my drivers are ready to come out and put on a show at Mill Hill Stadium.
All right, now let me ask you a question. Have you got your hero cards and stuff yet?
Yeah, we still got when you're wearing two hats. You got the promoter hat over here to try to get the racetrack ready, and you got the race shop in there with all the cars that need to be worked on. It's been kind of tough, so no, ain't got the photo shoot done, but we'll get it all done before the 30th.
All right, and I understand Kelly, she rules with an iron fist there at the racetrack too.
He's going to be the chief scorer, you know. So when you've got little mini late models running 4-second laps, and you got one scorer, it's all going to determine come down to her and her decision who actually wins against the trophy that night. She rules the roost.
So is she going to be capable of handling that? You know, I know her pretty well. I just want to know if she's going to be able to handle it.
Well, she used to score for me when I drove, so she did good with that. But to be honest with you, she's really the only option.
Okay.
$4,000 transponder system. She's gonna decide the facts.
I would think that'd be the most inappropriate answer. I think anything other than she's the only option. Man, I'll tell you what. Now, for those of us, which means me, who's not exactly certain what this program's all about, start from the beginning. It's obviously in Charlotte, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Canaples.
Indoor RC cars.
No, it's outdoors.
Okay. Mike, tell us a little bit about it for those of us who are more dumb than we thought.
Well,
I thought it was indoors, but anyway, okay.
It's outdoors at my race shop.
Okay.
So, you know, we went and we had some new concrete put down in between my house and my shop this year, and I always wanted to mess around with these little mini late models, and buddies of mine like Tyler Green that spots for the 43 Cup car, and David Keith that spots for David Gilliland Cup. They always run them, and all the tracks that they raced at around here had shut down. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll build a track, you know. So I went and put it all together, and it's just all for fun. You know what I mean? It's all for fun for me and my buddies to get together and grill out, drink a couple cold ones, and these little cars. So most of us, we used to all get to drive, and now we're stuck on the spotter stand. So Wednesday nights at Mill Hill, that'll be our fun behind the wheel.
So how long is the track? What distance?
Oh, it's small. To be honest with you, I'd have to run the measuring wheel around there to even see what it is. But like I said, the cars run around there in 4 seconds. You know what I mean? So it's small and fast.
Well, I'm gonna have to get you. I know a guy that's up here that's built a dirt track for RC cars, and I'm gonna have to get y'all to come up here and race those guys.
Well, these cars that we're actually running are actually designed for dirt, so that's what they were designed for. So, you know, when we run them on concrete, you know, we do some minimum adjustments to the shock and spring package and into the tires and things like that. But, you know, that's actually what they were designed for. But it's the overall RC stuff kind of been a dying trade out there. You know, most everything's going to the buggies and the off-road stuff. So we're just trying to keep it alive. We're all short track racers at heart. You know, it's just something to have some fun with and blow off some steam on a Wednesday, because the Wednesday to us is kind of like our Saturday night. You know, we live a life of not being home on the weekend, so our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is our week.
I wish I could get something set up where you guys could either come here or I can get these guys to come down and race y'all sometime, man, because they've got a heck of a track up here.
Well, you never know, so keep that in mind.
I will. I'm gonna keep that up. Mike, tell us a little bit how you got started in racing. I know a lot about how you raced in the Hooters Cup and all that, but give us a little how you got started. I know your dad's involved and everything, and give us a little background.
Well, I guess I'm about to date myself and how long I've been at it, but you know, I've been involved in racing now for I don't know how many years, since I call it 1983. You know, my dad, being in Kannapolis, he worked with Earnhardt on the Busch car, which is the late model sportsman team at the time. Shop was only a couple miles from my house, so spent a good many summer nights hanging out over there, and then getting to go to the racetrack with them, with Earnhardt and Rockingham, Darlington, you know, Charlotte, you know, just basically all the local tracks I'd get to go to. So, you know, it's just one of them deals where when you're around that as a kid, you know, it's kind of ingrained in you. That's kind of what you want to do. And getting to go to Victor Lane, you know, of course, with Earnhardt, of course, you know, they won a lot. So, got to go to Victor Lane at places like Rockingham and Charlotte. And, you know, you look over and you're in Victor Lane and you're an 8-year-old kid, and you look over and you don't see Earnhardt standing there, you see Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see that, you know, it's just kind of like, this is what I want to do too, you know. So it just kind of grew from that. And, you know, my dad got me into go-kart racing in '83 and did that for 10 years, and then moved up to, you know, late model stock car racing around, you know, Hickory and Concord, Tri-County, places like that. And on to the Hooters Pro Cup scene and did that for 10 years, and then finally when, you know, things were starting to head into the, you know, different phase of life, that's when I started spotting, and been doing that ever since.
How'd you get involved with spotting, making the transition from racing on over to spotting? Who gave you your first break on that?
Well, I mean, it's actually a unique situation. It kind of shows you how big of a family sport and a networking sport that it is. You know, a couple guys that had worked with me, one of my best friends, Greg Rice, that I raced go-karts with in the late 80s and 90s. He moved down from West Virginia. He was a dirt modified racer. He moved down from West Virginia, started working at my shop on my late model stock cars, doing, you know, a lot of mechanic work. You know, from him, you know, I had a couple guys that would work for me at night, you know, doing fab work and stuff that worked in the cup world. You know, from there, Ray Thies was actually helping me. I think he was at Bahari at the time. Then from Bahari, he went to Petty Enterprises and was working on their R&D team when Dodge first come back in. They needed a mechanic. Ray had been working with Greg, so he hired Greg from my shop, and that was Greg's first big break in the sport. You know, from there, those two followed each other from Petty's over to JGR. At JGR, they just started up an East program for Mark Davis and Joey Logano. They had cut back our schedule on the Pro Cup deal to where we were running only 14 races on the schedule, so I just seen the economy was changing, sponsorship was changing, just things wasn't going well like that. And one day I just sit down and looked at the schedule, and I'm like, man, I can spot all these East races and not miss any of my Pro Cup races, you know. So, you know, another good friend of mine, Chris Lambert, had you know, he was a high school buddy of mine. He had helped me on my late model stuff. He had actually worked for me full time, you know, in the shop as a job. And from, you know, he kind of worked the system with a couple other guys and ended up starting a spot. He was at Gen or MB2, whichever one it was at the time. So I kind of, you know, seen, you know, how that, you know, how it could work. And then all of a sudden, one day, Greg went into the office at JGR to the crew chief, Scott Kilberry, on the East car and asked him, like, hey, do you have a spotter lined up for both of these East cars? And like, no, we need somebody. He's like, well, you know, you got your guy now, you know, and they hired me on the spot and, you know, just kind of worked it from there.
Well, that's great. Now, you tell us who you spot for now and who you spot for in the past.
Well, this year I'm with Stenhouse on the 17 Cup car, plus spot for Chris Busher in the 60 Nationwide car. You know, last year I was with Mark Truex Jr. on the 56 Napa car. And before that in Cup, you had kind of bounced around from different things to trying to get yourself lined up to get to the point that I'm at today. So, you know, from there, just numerous. And I couldn't even begin to count how many drivers I've actually worked with. I think at Venturini Motorsports alone in ARCA, I've worked with 30-some different drivers there. So the amount of people you work with kind of adds up when you do what you do.
Mike, don't give away any secrets unless you want to. But we've heard, obviously, that there are teams whose spotter and driver and crew chief, they use code. They use different words that mean different things. They try to talk to each other without the people listening in knowing what they're talking about. Is that done? Is that a common occurrence? Does it happen all the time, or is that kind of rare just among a few teams?
You know, it's one of them things that you obviously, if you're in contention to win a race, you don't want your competitors knowing what you're fixing to do on pit road, whether you're going to take 2, take 4, take none. You know, you don't want them to know that. So, you know, there might be some code words that's involved. So that way, because the driver needs to know, you know, what you're going to do, because the way he pulls into the pit box, when he leaves, is crucial to knowing whether you're not going to take 4, take 2, take none. You know, so there's some code words and stuff that you kind of use amongst each other, between you and the crew chief, driver, that kind of thing. You know, it really depends, too, whether or not you're in contention to win the race. If you're not in contention to win the race, it's not nearly as crucial. I mean, we might wait till the last second, you know, to tell the driver something. The crew chief might tell me, crossing the start-finish line, hey, Herman, we're going to pit this time. You know what I mean? And I won't tell the driver until 3/4 of the way down the back straightaway, just to try to keep it kind of private, kind of, you know, elusive. So I don't know. Each team, you know, does things different. You know, and I know what you're talking about, and you know, there'll probably be more stuff like that. And we don't have near the private communications now. You know, that since we're, you know, the spotter's not able to be on the digital. So there's always going to be some kind of gamemanship or somebody trying to come up with a better system or a, you know, a way of keeping your competitors, you know, off guard.
Now, is there any truth to the rumor I heard about you that Fat Boy was your hero?
Fat Boy that's fired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have admitted that out loud.
Well, when you know, I walked into the North Turn one night in Ponce Inlet, which is just south of Daytona Beach, where the old North Turn at the beach course was. Those guys are shot up because they just had a kitchen fire this week. And
yeah, I saw that.
had to shut down, so they're going to reopen, which is good, you know, because it's a pilgrimage for any race fan. During Daytona, you got to go to the North Turn and have dinner and have a couple of drinks, because it's just amazing place when you know that that's exactly where the beach course was. But anyway, I walked into the North Turn one night and walked up and seen Janet. She poured me a cold one, and I heard a voice that sounded like Fat Boy. And I looked up, and sure as I Fat Boy's on stage singing. You know what I mean? And ever since then, he's that's a if you're going to make somebody a hero, you're on stage at North Fair, you're doing pretty good.
Hey, but look, did you know Fat Boy did a CD?
I'd heard it. I've never heard it, but I had heard it. There is a CD out there.
I have seen it.
Have you heard?
Have you heard it?
No, my son's got it, but I have not heard it, but I saw the CD. Now, I don't know what
It looked okay, it looked nice.
I don't know how he sings, but I'm going to tell you something. That was a weird thing to know he had a CD.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, Scott Howell's got a fan club. A lot of things surprise you.
Well, Mike, we're gonna let you get back. We're gonna let you get back to eating, and I appreciate you taking time to call. And maybe we'll get you back on here, and we'll get into a little more stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Anytime I'm gonna roll back in here to the Stag and Doe, and kind of like vacation week for me. So we're gonna hang out here a little longer tonight, and appreciate you having me on.
And look, tell Kelly I said hi too.
Will do. Thank you.
Thanks
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Yep, take care.
Oh,
Trent Owens.
it's his first day. Let's talk racing. How you doing, Mr. Owens?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. This is Jack Dodson. I got Al Pearce and Brian Morehouse and Roger Brehm and Scott somebody. And
He's off his game tonight.
He is. He really is. I think this whole fan club thing's got him really messed up.
first of all, I want to say congratulations on that win down at Daytona. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. It was a real big deal for our race team. We're not by any means a powerhouse, as they say, but it was a real big boost to our race team.
You know, I saw the interview this weekend you did with Larry McReynolds, and it's really neat how there's a great tie between you and the Petties, and how it all came back around to when you won that race at Daytona. You were a crew chief that brought that team back.
Yeah, I guess when you look at it, it was a interview with Larry, and I was there 3 years ago in Victory Lane. 8 or 9 years old, celebrating that win. I didn't realize the magnitude back then, but as a group older, kind of off on my own way, and just trying to and do things, and the Bucks to come up to be a part of the 43 again this year. I felt like it was the right time for my family and myself, and thanks to we were in Victory Lane Daytona 30 years later, weekend, that's 200 win, and it was really a storybook win. And put all that in pretty amazing that it all on the
Well, it's got to be, and you're pretty much locked into the chase, and I mean, you're locked in the chase, really, I guess. But that's got to be a big deal for you and the team to get into the chase, and basically, you're one of your team is one of the better Ford teams that they've got out there right now.
Yeah, we're not necessarily locked in right now, but we do have a main chase. We can get a couple more repeat winners. And it just gives our team an opportunity to race the championship that I don't think RPM has done in the past, been a part of. So that's just a boost. But, we're looking forward to a lot of racetracks in the chase for tracks. It will be good to with the season growth. We can transfer through the first couple of folks.
Where's he at?
We make.
Hey Trent, where are you at? Right? You're breaking up on the thing here.
At my house. You hear me?
It's still breaking up just a little bit. You're fading in and out, but
Is that any better?
that's better.
Yeah.
That sounds better. Look, and also one of the things that that I didn't know until I heard the interview the other day was that you are now one of the very few that have as a crew chief, has a win in all 3 divisions.
Yeah, I don't know the actual number of crew chiefs that has a win
6.
in all 3 divisions.
10. Was it 10?
It's a total of 10, I think, is what they said the other day. But that,
Oh, 10.
and I think that's really cool. I mean, that's
And there's none of them are the same drivers
yeah.
Yeah.
with all the wins that he's got.
All of my first wins have been the driver's first win as well. I think. And so it was pretty cool when they brought that up. Actually, Eric, after we won Daytona, we got on the plane. He said, "Hey, you've won a race in all 3 series." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess I have." But yeah, when I started talking about it, I was like, "Wow, that's something probably really hard to do." Because not everyone gets an opportunity to work in every series, and not everyone gets an opportunity to work with a lot of different drivers. And I've been fortunate that I've been with good race teams in each series and got to work with good drivers. So, yeah, I think that's special. I'm glad to say I have a win in all 3 series.
I'm sure we know your history, with the Petties and everything, and probably our audience doesn't, but where did you end up getting your start at, and what age were you?
Yeah, I went to the racetrack, Martinsville, Darlington, Rockingham, all the ones that was close. I grew up in Darlington, South Carolina. But, obviously having family involved in the sport, I was able to go to the races and hang out. But I guess really, at age 13, I started a summer job at Petty Enterprises. Man and Uncle provided me with a summer job just to learn. I worked in every department. One summer I'd be in the paint body, one summer I'd be in the mechanic shop, one summer I'd be in the fab shop. I did that until I graduated high school. So, it was something that said, hey, we want you to go racing, but, hey, it's there, it's a summer job. If you like it, you can continue with it. And so it was kind of like, education that other people couldn't get. I was very lucky that they provided those opportunities.
Did you make the jump right after high school into the racing, life, or did you take some time off, go to school or anything, or race?
After high school, I went on to college, studied engineering, and then I started to race as a driver myself. I got the opportunity to do some late models, some all-pro, Scooters Pro Cup, made it to the Camping Work Truck Series, did limited races there. So I kind of run along as a driver. Got my engineering degree. Kind of when I figured the driver thing wasn't going to work out, I reverted back to building shops and engineering and worked my way up through that route.
There has been some difficult moments in your family in racing. Some times when maybe if you had not been quite as dedicated, you might have said, I've taken all this crap I can take. Was there ever a moment when you thought briefly about maybe this is not really for me? Or I remember when Adam got killed, Richard said that it's just like a farmer. You lose a crop one year, you don't quit farming. Did you ever have a moment where you kind of second guessed what you were doing?
Yeah, I think for me, I think everybody deals with things differently. I lost a brother and sister. I was really close to Adam. We lost him, and there was a lot of things that happened right in a row for me, and at a young age I was at the same time. So, I think when I look at racing, even back then, it was like, I was working at Bridge Ferry Driving Experience. And I would spend a lot of nights just at the shop, just doing different things. But I think the biggest thing racing provides for me is every day is a different day. There's so many challenges that racing throws at you. It doesn't give my mind time to idle or get complacent. It's always changing, and I like that, and I think that's good for me. And so for me, racing was the medicine that pretty much kept me out of the depression, out of the dark side. So, I take it for what it's worth. I really have a passion for working on race cars. And that's kind of where I'm at.
How much influence did Barry have on you when you were coming through? I mean, I didn't know the complete relationship there until I heard the interview this past weekend. But how much of an influence was he on you too?
Well, obviously, my half brother and sister, Barry was their father, and so we spent a lot of time together. Obviously, he was a championship crew chief. I worked with him at Hill River Racing as a stock specialist. I worked with him at Rusty Wallace Racing when he was managing their nationwide program when it first started. So I'd say he probably has a big influence, for me on the racing side. My mother and him divorced when I was engaged. So I have a stepfather who lives in Darlington who pretty much leads me to talk about that side of things. But from the racing side, that's really influential in my crew chief role and very supportive. And he's always been there when I need questions. But side of things, an important guy in my life.
Am I correct? I want to be sure I got this thing right. Linda Petty, whom we all knew and loved and admired greatly, was your father's sister. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. What was it like growing up, knowing that your aunt or your uncle, I mean Richard, was such an icon? Was it kind of cool to say that, hey, Uncle Richard is, is going to do this and that and the other thing?
It is. I mean, I think that you're proud because you see the way fans react to him as an individual. And my aunt was a really special person. But they're the most down-home, everyday people you'll ever meet. So when it was at home watching TV or cooking or just doing normal, going to Disney World while we went to Daytona every summer, it was like anybody else. Obviously, when we would go to dinner, he would draw a large attention, and that's okay, and he loved that. But yeah, they're just the most down-home people. It's really hard to explain. The family time was the family time. But then, getting an opportunity to go to them cup races and all that stuff, to me it seemed normal.
Yeah.
I took a lot of the times for granted that wasn't a normal lifestyle. But it was pretty special. I'm very proud to say I'm a part of that family.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Now that you've got to win in the Cup Series and everything like that, what do you do for the next 6 or 7 races, getting prepared for the chase? Do you take a different approach now, or what do you do differently?
Well, I mean, we still have to maximize our points position just in case. But yeah, our focus has changed a little bit in the fact that we're starting to look at what we might or might not test that we were looking at differently before. Probably looking at some different setup items with the race cars, maybe some R&D items that we can go try now on a race weekend. And if it's not as good, then we haven't really lost as much. But hopefully we need to try to get some momentum going. So when we make the chase and those races come up, you got to be on your best, as soon as they start. So it kind of shifted, our focus to more of the testing and just trying to find some new ideas. So when we're guaranteed in that chase, we can try to make a hit.
So how much of your focus or the whole organization's focus is now going to be put over on Marcus to get him into the, because one of his best shots is coming up with Watkins Glen. I mean, we got to be honest about it. One of his best shots. Do you all work together as you're preparing for that?
Oh yeah, very much so. We've had a Watkins Glen test scheduled for 3 months before we won, and that test is still going to. We've got to try to get 9 car in the chase as well, and definitely Watkins Glen is. I mean, I don't know a better driver ever than has raced that racetrack than Marcos. And like I said, that test has been scheduled for at least 3 months, but that was already in play for any. If it doesn't go as planned, as good as Eric and Marcus ran at Bristol, then we may use another test at Bristol. But we don't know the answer to that until the Watkins Glen race.
How much does Marcos help Eric get ready for the road course? I mean, I don't know how good I haven't really paid close attention to Eric on a road course, but has Marcus been able to help him with the road course and advance him a little bit?
I feel like he probably has. Obviously this is my first, only done Sonoma. So that is hard to test, but hopefully with our 2-day test, Marcos can give Eric some points, and we can go up there and have a good day. At least having the drop data to compare to and just having him to talk to has got to be a help. So I think I'll see more of that at Watkins Glen. We weren't able to test Sonoma. We're going to go to have both of them there testing and doing that kind of stuff. So I'd have to say over a couple of years that Marcos has probably been a big help to Eric on the road race.
All right, well, we're going to let you get back to your week off, because I know I've got a son in the sport, so I know he's looking forward to his week off. So I know you guys are all looking forward to it, and I appreciate you taking time out to talk to us.
All right, thank you, Jeff.
All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
That is a pretty cool story about him and
History with
That
everybody.
was I didn't know. I knew bits and pieces of his story because I knew about the Trey and Tia when they got killed in the car wreck, various kids, but I didn't know the whole.
Well, I didn't know, like, I was curious to how he was actually related to the Pettys, because I know he kept referring to him as aunt and uncle.
His father, who got killed in Talladega, by the way,
Right.
Really?
was
Yeah.
Linda's brother.
Yeah, but one of those tanks blew up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
killed him.
Was he
Yeah,
big crew at the
Linda,
time?
Linda Owens and his father were brother and sister. And I don't know how old he was. Talladega was early 70s.
I can't remember. Because
Well,
we
you
talked
gotta
about how
think
he
it
had
was-
Barry on the show.
Yeah.
It was 35, 40 years ago.
Yeah, he wasn't very old. He was pretty young.
And I didn't know the tie-in between him and Adam, because he said in that interview that he was real close to Adam,
Yeah.
and and you look back, Kyle was on the other end of that hose when it exploded
Right.
and killed Randy. Kyle was on the other end of that hose, and they were real tight, and it just everything has gone full circle for them all. So
Yeah,
it's really
it's pretty neat for him to be the one to be the crew chief on the car, to win it, and to
30.
bring it back. Yeah, especially
For the
30
30th
years later for.
Didn't his aunt help him and get a job there or something? Help?
Well, I'm sure he did. I mean, he didn't go into
He
that.
mentioned that a little bit.
Well, I know he said that Linda was always helping him with, it opened doors because of who he was related to.
Yeah.
But you know something, I mean, just like Al even said, he knows it better than anybody, but following racing as much as he has. I mean, the Pettys have really absorbed a lot of tragedy and everything, and they've really kept going. And he'll vouch for you. You see Petty in the garage, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Just stops and talks, and he'll be late for a meeting, and he'll stop and talk to a group of people, and just really a great family from what I know of them. Just really awesome.
Yeah.
So,
They're the best.
Brennan's offering.
He's been holding for.
Good afternoon, Brennan Newberry. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm doing really good. You know who this is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got Al Pearce and Brian Morehouse and Roger Brehm and Scott somebody, and
All right now.
see what all is going on. And congratulations on that first nationwide start this weekend. How did that go for you?
It went really great. I have to thank everybody from SS Greenline Racing, Bobby Dodger, and Jason Miller was my crew chief this weekend. It all came together really fast. My first time ever at the Magic Mile at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and for us to be able to go out there and practice really good. I had Tom down as my driver coach for that race. It was pretty awesome, man. And the fact the whole family was there, and we didn't know we were racing it until we actually got there on Thursday. So everything came together relatively quick, man. But from the sound of it, I'm not the one that should be congratulated for what happened this week. And I hear that you're the newest member of the Sky Island Fan Club.
that's what I hear.
Right.
The news is really going all the way to Carolina. How did that happen?
Brennan, I was really one of your #1 fans, but I'm beginning to wonder about you now too.
From what we hear, you're one of Scott Allen's #1 fans.
I didn't say that.
That's what we're hearing.
I didn't say that. And I know where you got that from, Brennan, and I really, we're going to have a talk about that after the show's over. And, you didn't have to play along with the game either.
That's what I love from racing, that it's all in good fun, man.
I'm just going to let you know something. I've been trying to get down there to see you and see your shop. I'm coming. And I want you there.
Well, we talked about
You just come on over and bring out a big bear hug with you.
He'll make sure to bring his shirt too.
I'll even give you my shirt.
Well, we got to talk a little bit about your first nationwide race. Give us a little bit of insight about how your season's going with the K&N East Series.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just a bunch of up and down, Julie. We started out with a bang at New Smyrna and the battle at the beach there, and we had really good qualifying since then. We've kind of had some up and down luck. We finished second in Phoenix for the initial West race in the K&N Pro Series, and we went to Bristol, finished fourth, and we've had some pretty good runs here and there. Same thing with my teammate Greg Gall. He's had a pretty good run. A little like he was about to pull out a couple wins, but we just sometimes just have bad luck, and for Gray, it's kind of been some mechanicals. For me, it's kind of been being in the wrong place, wrong time, getting into altercations on the track with other drivers, and so hopefully we can keep plugging along. I mean, we're faster wherever we go. I mean, the cars are pretty fast right off the gate, and I feel like everybody from NCS Motorsports, I could have done Munson and my entire Core 24 team. We've been working hard, and we've been putting a lot of effort into it. We've been doing all the research we can. We've been trying to stay ahead of the game. We feel like our luck's going to change, and our efforts are going to be paid off, and hopefully we can start it up this weekend at Columbus Motor Speedway. That'd be a great place to kick it off.
Well, how'd y'all do this past weekend? Y'all were in New Hampshire, and how did y'all end up doing there?
We ended up being really fast out of the gate. Gray, was pretty awesome. My car wasn't bad. We were pretty close to each other in the speed charts there in practice. Both in the top 10 for a good remainder of the day, and that's kind of where we ended up. For qualifying, we felt like my car needed some work, so we made some changes to it. It was a little bit loose. So I qualified 12th, Gray qualified 5th, and Gray took the lead early on, but my car just never really got the handle right on it, unfortunately. And I felt like we had a left rear tire go down late in the race, kind of ended our day, and Gray had a front go out. A lot of tire issues at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and I know the Goodyear is doing the most they can, and they're really going back and looking at it because the Firefly tire is so different from any of the other top NASCAR levels. I mean, everyone else runs radials, and the advice block it, it's really different, the handle different, and I feel like they're always trying to give us tires to race with, and they're trying to make the races as interesting as possible. We just kind of bummed when you have two good race cars, and tires kind of play the days, but it's just fun. I mean, I'm so glad I got the laps I did in the K&N Pro Series event, because that's helped me get my nationwide start. I had a lot of laps on my track, and by the time both races were over, I feel like I can maybe drive it in my sleep, but still find the best way around. That was a pretty tricky place. It was a lot of fun for me. I mean, it's the track where you're really just you have to be able to hit your marks every single time. A place with not a lot of grip, and so just had to be smart getting in the corner, kind of let the car do what it wanted to in the center. It seemed like we were tight for the most part in most areas all weekend. Just really got signed for us, and just kept moving up the track, and really slick on exit. I mean, I even watched even though it didn't look like it, I watched the 22 and the 54 struggle to get off the corner. I mean, they still had to roll in it like I did. Off the corner. So it was pretty cool, man. It was interesting to see how other people manage the track and how they adjust their line, and that definitely gave me a lot of experience just running with those guys. I mean, whenever you get to race with great velocity, and that tends to call home, you tend to learn a lot.
Well, it seems like the K&N East and also the West Series, y'all get to visit some top-rated tracks as for the National Series between Phoenix. It looks like you've got an experience with Richmond, now New Hampshire, and Bristol. Which one of those is your favorite tracks out of all those?
Oh, my hometown. Obviously, Stenhouse from California, but I really like it. It's one of those tracks that
You have two different corners, and you have the lane in the back. I don't know, for some reason, ever since I went there the first time in 2010, I just fell in love with it. Old, new, surface. I just really enjoyed going to the place. I don't know why, it's just one of those places that I just enjoy getting on. Bristol was a little tough last year, but this year going back there, being able to run well and we're really back to my short track route. We're going to be able to place on Irwindale Speedway, California, running the high line, up down, exit, and get driven off. So Bristol was probably one of the most fun races. So,
Yeah.
But I know there's plenty more to tell. I'm really looking forward to going back to Iowa again. We finished sixth there, this season, and so when we return, hopefully we'll be a little bit better. And shoot, man, it's pretty awesome when the beginning race some road courses. We'll do Washington Glen on the 8th, and we'll do VAR, Virginia International Raceway on August 15th. August 16th, our good course race is August 30th, 31st. I'll be doing it with the truck, so I'll get 3 road races there by the time August is over.
Yeah, you definitely will. Well, we're going to have to be wrapping it up, but do you want to go ahead and give a shout out to all your sponsors?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every the corner organization really like to keep it in, even more so because we got to give Core 24, our sponsor, a lot more recognition, give them some TV time on the national stage, and really focus on Core 24 just wins the target. So please go look for Core 24. It's quality Q, and for 24 at the end, and don't give it any. It'll change your life. You spray on your hands for 24 hours, your hands protected from many germs, and there's a lot of cool things come down the line with not only Core 24 but Core systems as a whole. So they're getting bigger, they're gaining, and they have momentum on their side, so hopefully we can do it with us. On Motorsports, I have to thank them, my parents for the amazing opportunity that we have. I really want to appreciate you guys for having me on the channel. Sorry for playing the firecracker.
I appreciate you mentioning the fan club, Brendan.
Yeah, not problem.
Yeah, I appreciate it too, Brennan.
I know you do, Ron. I'm not going to sell out Roger.
So I know where it came from. Don't worry, I got it all under control. But I want to ask you one more thing. Are you going to run the truck anymore this year, or?
I'll be my tentative plan right now is to be August 30th to 31st at Untitled Motorsports Park with the truck, and Phoenix hosted on the next two that I'm going to get.
Okay, cool. All right.
I say we go down there and visit the shop at Martinsville.
I think we should.
I'm going to come see you. You can bet on that.
I expect it, man. Well, we're going to thank you very much for having me on the show. It's always fun. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing Jack at the shop soon. We're his nice new cut on the.
Hey, Brennan, come on now. Let's back down here.
I think he's a bigger fan than me.
Let's tap the brakes here just a little bit.
Hey, Brandon actually, my aunt is a big fan of Brandon's. I don't know if when he won the pole at Daytona, she come over and got his autograph, and it's like she's been his good luck charm. So maybe we got something in common. That's why he's a big fan.
All right, Brandon, it's been nice talking to you tonight.
Don't go away mad. Just go away.
Hey, look, man, I'm going to send you a text message in the next few days and about when I'm coming down there to see you.
Oh boy, I'm a little afraid for that. You guys need to be nice to Jack, so he doesn't come down so hard on me.
Jack's a good guy. He can handle all of it.
It's all right, Brennan.
You take care, man.
I'm going to talk to your dad, too.
Man, now he's going to the big boss.
I know. That's the reason why I said I'm going to talk to him, too. All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Brandon.
See you later.
All right, man.
Scott,
That was pretty funny.
how many more shirts do we need to make?
I don't know. It sounds like we need to get a big batch.
You got to think we have like doubled in the past couple of weeks. Jack's come on board.
And
Everybody.
then it's blew up since then.
I never said I came on board yet.
You got it.
We got it live on video, dude.
He passed 2 cars. You got to be in his fan club.
That's right.
Hey, I doubled it.
Yeah. Even though they
Let's
did
get the
wreck.
next person on here. We really don't need to discuss all this. Al wants to go eat.
You know the thing we haven't talked about.
Don't you back down on me now, Al.
Oh, now he's got all kinds of titles.
You're in a whole heap of trouble, Jack.
Don't you back up on me. Normally you ready to go eat.
I am.
You can just
I'm
dial it
fine
from
with
there
that.
if you want.
Where's your next race at? Are you going to Eldora next week?
Nah, I'm going to Indy probably be my next one.
I mean, you got to pick the hottest track there is, don't you? God, that place is hot.
Gotta be there.
Yeah. But you know, we haven't said anything about Eldora. You know,
Yeah.
that's next Wednesday night. I was just looking on there. You got Kyle Larson. He's in there. Kenny Strader's in the 00. God, I don't have it up now.
Austin Dillon's in
Austin
there.
Dillon.
will be there.
Yeah, I think Ty Dillon.
But you know, they said they're not sold out yet, where they were sold out 3 months prior to the race last year.
Well, last year being the first race and, you know,
And,
all the history.
Nick
of it.
Harrison is going to be Austin's crew chief at Eldora.
I mean,
Oh,
it's-
is it?
Yeah, so I talked to him the other day, and he said that's going to be
Hey,
interesting.
did you happen to see the text last week after Daytona from Clint Warrior? I said last
Yeah.
week. Did you see it? Apparently he come home because the race was on Sunday, and he come home and sitting on the porch and drinking a beer. Next thing his 2 neighbors next door are skinny dipping in this pool. Somebody said, posted a few minutes later, said, "What'd you do?" He said, "I went and got another beer and went to the pool."
I think that's a
We
true.
had a good, yeah, he
He's
is.
a good dude.
Yeah.
Kenny Strader, Austin Dillon, Ty Dillon, Norm Benning, and Michael Annette, and Kyle Larson. So,
Slightly different from last year.
yeah. So, 33
you don't-
entries.
You don't have the hype you had last year with the
With it being the first time,
Yeah,
back on dirt. Yeah.
And Bloomquist was there last year. You had a lot of guys that were wanting their best. You know, wanting to come out there and give it a shot. That are not going to be there this year. You know.
Well, that's true.
I'm surprised though more dirt guys are not
Trying to
get
sign
into
up.
that race. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger, what are we doing?
I'm waiting for
Another
Just
call.
call back. Let's talk racing.
See, I like Al keeps us on the
Hey
chip.
Daniel, hang on just a sec. Who are you putting you on?
Waiting for who?
Daniel Hemric.
What's his girlfriend's name?
Kinsey Rustin.
You say, is this Kinsey Russell's girlfriend? Boyfriend. Boyfriend.
Star-studded lineup.
Daniel Hemric, how you doing?
I'm good, yourself?
I'm doing good. You got Jack Dodson and Al Pearce and Brian Morehouse and Roger Brehm and Scott somebody. And how's everything going down your way?
Everything's good. Everything's wide open and busy. Just got here to Michigan and ready the week to start.
Now what are you running up there this weekend?
I run the CRA Super Late Model race at Berlin. It's called the Berlin 251. Then I leave here Saturday night, fly to Oxford, Maine on a private plane and ride to Oxford 250 on Sunday.
You threw that
Wow.
private plane in there.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. We had Kinsey on here a few weeks ago, and we asked her the question, who's the better driver, you or Kinsey? Now, she refused to answer the question.
That's her without a doubt.
It's her without
He's a smart man.
you are. I don't know if you're smart or you're selling out on me. What's the deal here?
Alright, there's something called common courtesy. So it's,
Well, Daniel, how'd you get started in racing and to get to where you are now? Give us a little background on you.
really just been able to be around really good people. Growing up, my family took me as far racing as I could, just racing go-karts from the age of 5. Got to run bandoleros and whatnot when I was about 10, and that was about as far as my family could take me. And a team, Latigan Motorsports, Timmy and Cheryl Latigan, they stepped up and actually put me in my first ride, being an electric car. From then on, things have kind of snowballed, and I've had a lot of great opportunities and been with a lot of great people. And got to run late models for Jeff Bolts, and now kind of land, I guess you'd call my home at Clarksville Motorsports, and been doing it ever since.
Well, tell us about one of your biggest paydays ever out there at Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Legends.
Yeah, that was a pretty emotional deal. Obviously, growing up in Kannapolis, North Carolina, the Legends Million in Charlotte was by far the biggest win of my career. And I'll never forget, you're talking about Kinsey, I got a checker flag and went to do the victory lap, and here comes Kinsey running across the infield with a suit down in tears. So that was my family there, and definitely that was the biggest win of my career.
So give us a little bit. You're a Kannapolis guy. Tonight's been a Kannapolis, show.
Mm-hmm.
Two guys from Kannapolis. I used to live in Kannapolis, and really nice area and a lot of racing down there.
Move back.
They want me to move back. Can you believe that? All because I'm a Scott Allen fan. But I could move back and sell T-shirts. That's what I could do.
Yeah, we could just put the East Coast division there.
Exactly.
I'm gonna hate to show you something on Facebook, Jack.
But tell us a little bit about your season this year and what your future plans are and what's going to be going on.
Really, it's been wide open. Come February, I really didn't know what I was going to have going on. Ended up going down to Herman and doing some crew chiefing with Peyton Ryan with one of my own cars in a rental program, and then my season started with the Southern Super Series. We ended up running, that whole deal. We won the championship last year, so we were trying to do it back to back. Got off to kind of a slow start, but now we're kind of getting things in place. And we able to win a couple of races with Krystal Motorsports and the Woodland Race team in Patch Series. So ran a lot of races that looked like we had a whole season already, and we're just now halfway. And this weekend is going to be another test of that whole deal being tough. And just excited to be able to do what I do and sit in the race for every weekend just about.
So how many different divisions are you racing this year?
Divisions, well, mostly all being straight rail stuff as far as late models. Run the CRA, Pass North, Pass South, as well as, run the electric car on Mondays and Tuesday nights at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I think that's about all we got going on. So, what was that, 6 or 7?
Yeah, 6 or 7 right there. That's
How many races
pretty
are
good.
you running throughout the season?
What was that?
How many races are you running throughout the season this year?
Just with Carswell alone, I believe we have 25 races scheduled. I'm running 2 or 3 with Dixie Woodman and 10 Legends races. So roughly 40 races when it's all said and done.
Wow. Well, I remember you back during the mods when you raced the Southern Mod Tour. How'd you enjoy that?
I love those cars. Those still to this day one of the most fun things I've been able to do. I really, if I had the opportunity, I'd like to go run, one of the bigger race tracks a couple times, Bristol, New Hampshire. Those things are so much fun, and to be able to feel the horsepower, be so light, have the grip, it really just makes for a fun ride. So, I really couldn't find a place for me to stay in the series, but I really enjoyed running them. I'd like to run more of them if I could.
So, what does the rest of your season look like? And are you going to be moving around to do some more stuff, or are you looking to move up into another division by next year? Or what's your plans for next year?
Really, right now, we're definitely focused on finishing this year out strong and trying to make a run at the Southern Super Series Championship. But right now, being July, we're definitely making plans. I'm trying to put stuff together to run one of the top 3 series in the NASCAR range next year. At least if we can do a full season, a couple races. I'm not really sure who it would be with or when it would be or how many races it would be. But that's ultimately the goal, is to make an appearance back and one of the top 3 series again next year.
Now, I want you to get in the K&N car. I'll get in a K&N car, and I want you to run Kinsey so I can actually find out who is the best driver.
Until anybody sees that, I'm going to claim she is. But deal, man, that is a tough series, and the stuff she's going with Kinsey the rest of the year is really cool to see her have success of late. And I think they got a couple of really strong race tracks coming up for her. She's racing Columbus this week, so she's pretty good. I'm pulling for her. I think if you get a chance, you can do it. She good anyway.
So now you're going to Oxford this weekend. Tell us a little bit about that. What all you got planned for that? I mean, do you have a good car for that, or is this one that belongs to one of the teams, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, like I said, I'm in Michigan right now running for Carswell Motorsports, and then Dixie and Becky Woodman Racing. They're actually from Oxford, Maine. So it's a really, really big deal to them, which is a really big deal that you take part in that event, let alone. I'm excited about the car. I'm running the car I won the Greenville Pass race with earlier this spring. So I'm excited about it. If nothing else, I'm glad to get them a good finish, and I hope to be able to run for a win for those guys, just being their hometown. And it's really cool to be able to fly across the country and run these different people. It's really an honor.
All right, well, we're going to have to wrap it up, and we'd like for you to give your sponsor some credit and anybody you'd like to thank, and we appreciate your time tonight.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I appreciate having me on. I couldn't do it without Jake and Jenna Carswell, Jacqueline Steve Turkey, Alpine Star Racing Electronics, 698. The list goes on and on. I've been a huge supporter of us this year and everything I drive. So just really excited going forward the rest of the year. Like I said, thanks to all the guys making this weekend possible and every weekend after.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate your time tonight, and we'll get with you again real soon.
Sounds good, guys. I appreciate having me on.
Appreciate it, man. Talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right, it's dinner time for Al, and we're going to go ahead.
I haven't said a word.
All right.
Really, it's our first Scott Allen fan club meeting, and you're going to come, right?
He's here.
To go out to eat.
Oh,
No, I can't
celebrate.
I can't do that. I got to go down the road, but I appreciate the offer.
Hey, Marvin, tell him you don't need
I think your dad wants to go. Sorry.
If he wants to get home, he's going to.
Suck the garage.
Sounds like a little threatening to me, isn't it?
Huh? All right, anyway, we enjoyed it. It was a good show tonight.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was really hilarious.
I have to thank Brandon.
You got anything to say, Al? Normally you got something to say. It's time to say it.
I'm just happy to be here.
You wouldn't have missed
I've
it.
never been in the presence of such greatness.
But he's been in some company. That's saying something.
I mean, I've met Michael Schumacher, but you are no Michael Schumacher.
Today
Of
has
course,
been,
neither is he.
hey Al, today's been one of those days that Jack has actually sat there and couldn't think of anything to say. Many times.
He was very speechless when the shorts first came out.
He's overwhelmed, I think.
All right,
Are
let's
you
go.
overwhelmed from
Hey,
the popularity?
All right.
Hey, Al, I got one thing to tell you.
Uh-oh.
This is from me to you. I'm going to see you at one of these racetracks.
Well, you saw me at.
No. I want to see you.
Are you done with your threats now?
No, I ain't done yet.
You live on 58, right?
Somewhere along there, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Are you on the other side of Southampton Motor Speedway?
No,
Or
I'm on
this side?
I'm on this side. I'm in Cortland.
He lives right in town.
You pass the high school? Or this side of the high school?
Your address
This-
is on
this side of
Facebook.
the-
No, I'm just
It's on
curious.
this side of the high school, but it's back into the town of Cortland.
Oh, okay. Where you used to have to go to get before they put in the bypass.
Right, yeah.
All right, let's go. I'm ready.
See everybody next week. One more fun.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Robert Richardson Jr., driver of the number 23 Dodge Challenger for R3 Motorsports in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and you're watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Peter, driver of the number 17 Toyota NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Here's your 2011 champion, David Brehm.
Hi, this is David Flens, driver of the 33 NASCAR Late Model, 2011 Old Dominion Speedway Track Champion. Thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing TV.
I'm Sam Hunt, driver 42 car on the thing Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, my name is Natalie Sather. I drive the 94 K&N Lady Eagle Safety Wear, Butler built seats, bell helmets, hooker harness seat belts, number 94 at South Boston Speedway. Be sure to listen to Let's Talk Racing TV.